Hi everyone, I am with my new friend Tore from TC Electronic.
Hey.
Thank you for doing this with me.
Hey, thanks for allowing me to be here. It's an honor.
Yeah, we're at GuitCon 2017, the first one ever.
Yeah.
Not the last one. Hope not. I don't think it will be.
I'm pretty sure this is really awesome. I have to say.
It's been really fun.
Yeah.
And I've been using your pedals for a long time, and I'm excited to see the 3 new ones that you brought here. And they have one thing in common, which we'll talk to you in a few minutes. But
suspense.
Suspense. But we have reverb. That's the Hall of Fame 2, which I also reviewed on my channel if you want to check the first one. But this one is really cool. I think I haven't tried it yet. Actually.
We'll see if you like it. Maybe it'll be a really short video.
Yeah, right. Go back home.
Yeah.
And the Flashback 2, which also I'm familiar with the first one. I've used that, and I also have is it the X4?
Yeah, the X4, the big
X4
version of that. Yeah.
Yep. And then a new one to me. That's to you too. That's the first intelligent pitch shifter.
Yeah,
have,
it is,
right?
and it's actually we are not officially announcing this until Thursday.
Oh, okay.
And I actually forgot to tell the guys in marketing back home that I was kind of previewing it here, and I kind of underestimated the amount of footage that will come out beforehand. So they're like, "What are you doing? It's out. We had all this stuff planned, but the cat's out of the bag, and anybody see this and they want to know more about it than what we already do here. On Thursday, it'll be kind of officially out.
Awesome, great, cool. But yeah, I'm excited about these, and I can't keep it inside. The secret feature, the thing in common is you call it the mesh
for meshing or.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
So it could be mush actually. That's pretty cool as well.
Trademark.
And you would be surprised how much time we spent just working on the name for that thing. We were through so many different iterations of that, but we ended up with mesh. Like
it works. I think it's great, and I think you guys are gonna really like this. It's kind of like an expression pedal, but it's not an expression pedal. It's a button expression pedal.
And the story behind it is actually kind of simple because there's been some features in Flashback and Hall of Fame, the original ones.
Yeah.
That that people over the years have requested a lot. And when it came time to do version 2s of these, I was going through the list and kind of going, we need to add that and we need to do this. So we're compiling this list of stuff. And one of the things that came up a lot was expression input. Please add an expression input. And to be honest, that's a really easy thing to do. We could have easily done that.
Okay.
So I was, it was already on the drawing board. We'll just add an extra input, done with it. But I was also thinking at the same time, mainly for myself, but also kind of looking at forums and friends' pedal boards. Yeah. And one of the things I was thinking is I rarely, if ever, see anybody with a regular pedal board with just individual pedals ever having an expression pedal.
No.
I know there are a few guys out there, so there's probably be somebody.
But
I do that.
Right, and they will.
Yeah, and it's true. There are people who do that, but the majority of guitar players don't do that.
Yeah.
And I think that, one of the problems, if you have a fairly small pedal like this, and then you had to hook up an expression pedal this size, and you can only use it to control that one pedal.
Yeah, that takes a lot of space.
That's kind of like a mismatch between, the effect and then the control of the effect.
Yeah.
So I got to thinking, well, first of all, if nobody's using, or very few is using that feature, there really isn't any reason to add it. Obviously, we want to make everybody happy, but sometimes you can't.
Yeah, of course.
But then I was thinking, but there's so many cool things you can do with expression pedals, and it's kind of it's a shame that you can't get the benefit of using expression pedals without having to add that big clunky thing next to it.
Yeah.
And that was basically a conversation I had with some of the engineers, and again, I'm not technically savvy. I don't know any of that stuff, but one of the guys said, that we can. We can actually make the foot switch pressure sensitive, which at that point I go like,
that's
okay.
It. I mean, that's the answer.
And that took like 10 minutes, that discussion, and then it took like 1.5 years or something like that to actually create, it's a custom built foot switch from scratch, and there's an amazing, surprisingly amount of tech that goes into doing this thing that, that we're doing in here. So, what was supposed to be like an easy little ad, let's put an expression pedal on the side, turned into this massive science project.
A 1.5 year project. You throw ideas and they're all like struggling in the back, like,
but to be honest, that's what they love as well. They like these challenges. So and it's been a lot of fun to kind of see it kind of come to life, and then finally when we had it working and we hook it up to the tone print editor, so you can control all this stuff. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Awesome. Well, let's give them a try. I've got kind of a clean crunch. And let's add some reverb.
Let's do that. So one of the other new things on this, we might as well, I have everything at 12 o'clock here, is the shimmer, so we'll start with that.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so that's been another one of those things I said that people have been commenting, we want shimmer in Hall of Fame. So we added that. So the mesh thing basically comes in terms of, adding an extra layer of control to the pedal. So it's exactly like having an expression pedal. So when you press down on the foot switch, you'll probably notice that, or you will notice that there's a little light that comes up here. You can see.
Okay, yeah.
And the harder I press, the more that light is going to turn bright. And that's basically the equivalent of, going towards the toe down position on an expression pedal.
Yeah.
And in this case, it's controlling the amount of level we send into the octave engine. So the shimmer effect will be more pronounced the more I press down. So you can try playing.
Yeah.
You can do some fun stuff with this.
Yeah. I'm curious to know how,
you have to press quite hard when you use your finger, which is why it looks like I'm trying to push my finger through the pedal.
With a hammer.
For the really tech nerdy, it's 10 kilos. Okay. Exactly. Okay. So it goes from a little above 0 to 10 kilos, which if you had it on your, it's easy to do. It doesn't require a lot of pressure. So that's how it works in essence. And the cool thing about it is typically if you have a pedal with an expression pedal, most times, not all the time, but most times, that expression pedal input is already assigned to something. So you plug it in and you can control the speed of your univibe or something like that, right? But this is hooked up to the entire tone print engine. So we can or you can or anybody can basically decide what they want to use the mesh switch for in every single sound they make. Okay. So on the shimmer effect, we're controlling the amount of
the octave,
the octave thing. Yeah. So here's an interesting one. So if you try to play just one note.
Yeah.
And then try another note.
So it's like swells, but really shimmered swells.
Yeah. So what we do here is that we control the input coming into the pedal.
Yeah.
So you can basically, it's kind of like having a volume pedal in front of your reverb, so you can fade sounds in like that. So that's just one way of, and there's some other crazy ones here. And obviously not all of them are like these crazy, space age things. There's some more subtle stuff like, the spring is just going to add a little bit more reverb and a little bit more.
So the mesh, the mesh is going to be applied to all the different.
They're applied to all of them, and they're different for every single one of them.
Okay.
Most of the the basic ones are is the mix, because we feel like if you like to play with a spring, you probably don't want like crazy modulation and shimmer coming in. If you're that kind of guy, you want it to be fairly subtle. So we keep it fairly subtle on those, and then there's some of the other ones where we go a little bit more crazy.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I really like that shimmer thing. Yeah, it's something that I was missing.
So that's some of the new things in Hall of Fame too. If you know the Hall of Fame, the original one. So if you kind of do a recap on that, there is the shimmer effect. Yep. There's the mesh switch, and then the last thing is pretty simple, but it's probably the most requested thing we had is more tone print slots. Okay. So it has the new one has 3 tone print slots.
Yeah.
So you can
there was only one before. Right? Yeah.
And the reason for that was that the whole tone print concept was brand new back then. Yeah. And I was a little worried that people would go like, well, I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to need it, so I'd rather have more of the standard ones. But, you know, as tone printers become more accepted and something people know, they want more of that because it's fun and cool to do your own sounds.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. Yeah, cool. And then you've got the Flashback too?
Yes. So here is one of the new things in Flashback 2, and it's one of the requests we got was that people really wanted to have a more precise emulation of tape and analog echo. So I think we did a pretty good job on the original one, but there are certain things that we could do better. And one of the things, it's kind of funny because TC comes from more of a studio background.
Yeah, we were talking about that.
Yeah. So all the way back to the 2290, which is this legendary delay processor we did, we spent a lot of time making sure that when you change the delay time, you can't actually hear that you changed the delay time. There's no artifacts and there's no pitch change because if you, for example, if you apply delay to a vocalist in a studio or in a live situation, you tap the tempo and you change it, it's going to sound like the vocalist out of tune because it suddenly goes like and so we spent a lot of time not having that. And we basically, the 2290 is still the basis of what's in the original Flashback pedal. So even our, you know, analog and tape echoes didn't have that feature where it, you know, changes the pitch. And guitar players like all that stuff. So now we build a new algorithm specifically for tape and analog that I think sounds really, really good. So there's the pitch warble in there. There's really cool oscillation. There's like super precise emulation of wow and flutter that you get in you know, in old tape echoes. So that's one of the new things.
Okay. So this one is which?
That's the tape.
Okay, yeah.
You can hear if I change the delay time, it'll do.
I really like this. That sounds really nice.
And in the editor, you have access to how much wow you want to apply, how much flutter you want to apply, how much tape degradation. You can even adjust the inertia. So when you change the speed,
I'm not sure what that is.
That is so on old tape echoes, you basically, it's a mechanic. Something is moving, right? Manual physical parts are moving. And when you change the delay time, it doesn't happen instantly because it's kind of like a car. You have to accelerate and decelerate. You can go in and decide how much of that you can do. So it's pretty nerdy, and the guy who did it is like just, you know.
Pretty nerdy.
But if we go back to the mesh thing, again, we can do so much different stuff with this. But one of the classic things to do with like either an old analog echo or an old tape echo is the, you know, this kind of self oscillation, and then if you were to do that on the knobs, you know, I would do this sort of stuff. And apologies to the sound guy already. So, you know, typically when I see somebody do this, you know, they are, you know, they have to get down on their knees and they're doing this stuff. And I'm like, you know, if you could actually stand up at the end of a solo and like do your best rock pose and then just do that with your foot, that would be pretty
way cooler.
So what we've done with the mass setting on specifically on the tape and analog setting is when you press it down, it's automatically going to take the feedback and just crank it all the way up.
Okay,
So it's going to self-oscillate right away. And then the pressure changes the pitch, the delay time. So the harder you press, the shorter the delay time, which will make the pitch go up. And when you decelerate, you know, the opposite time. So it sounds like this. It's going to go back to the regular feedback setting, so it kind of goes nice.
Yes, that's awesome. So convenient.
It's a fun thing, and again, you know, there's tons of different things you can do with this. This is just one example. There's some nice modulation stuff where we add more modulation. There's shimmer in here as well, so you can have like crystal lace or whatever you want to call it.
And all this is so tone print. Is there 3 slots?
There's 3 slots. Okay. So, you know, recapping on that. We went a little bit more nuts with that one because
As you could.
delay. So it has the mesh thing first of all. It has new analog and tape echo algorithm. It has the free tone print settings.
Yeah.
Another thing that we done in the past is that we have on the original pedal is that it has free settings.
Yeah, I remember that. Yes.
Quarter note, double note, and both together. Those used to be hard coded into the pedal. You couldn't change them. Now there's a real dual delay engine in there, so you can have any type of dual delay you want. If you want to have, a quarter note and an 8 note, or whatever you can think of is possible in there. Another thing that's new is we don't have audio tapping that we had on the original one in this one because we use that for the mash switch. Yeah. But the stereo input, if you don't use that, you can actually hook that up to a tap tempo foot switch, so you can tap the tempo that way. So quite a lot of new things that you can do.
Yeah, and plus the software, the app for the tone print is you can really get in.
You can get in and do some really nice and pretty things and some stupidly crazy things.
But that's something that I've always loved though, because you can go deep in the app, but then when you're live or on stage, I don't like to watch see all the clutter of options. I like a simple pedal that I can understand.
And that's how the whole idea basically came about, was trying to make some really simple pedals that when you want to, just find some sounds, you can easily do it.
Yes.
And then if you want to go a step further, you can download these artist sounds, and I'm really looking forward to doing some with you.
Yes, I'm very curious too.
So, that's the next step. You basically take advantage of the hard work somebody else has done. Yeah. And then you load that into your pedal, and then the last step is, do it yourself and, have fun with that.
Yeah. Awesome.
And we know that, pretty much everybody will just use a default setting from time to time. Yeah. Some people will beam the tone prints in, and a few guys will do their own, but that's
at least it's you can expand. It's an option. Yeah. Do what you want. And then now I'm excited. Yeah. About this one.
That's another one of those crazy pedals where it starts out as something simple and then it just kind of escalates. Yeah. So we actually have done harmonizers in the past in some of our multi-effect processes. Okay. Yeah. But this time around we basically started from scratch, and it has nothing to do with some of the old ones. So just in terms of like tracking and what do you call that? Like consistency. Yep. Sometimes you have there'll be a little glitchy. Yeah. We really worked hard to make something that just sounds good. Yeah. So right now I've just set it to, it's in the key of C. Okay. It's the major scale. Okay. And we will add a third up. Yeah. So there you go. So it's the pedal looks a little daunting when you see it, but at the end of the day, it's not that complicated. Yeah. So the first knob allows you to control which key you're playing in, which is vital when you have an intelligent pitch shifter. You have to tell it that. Yeah. The second one is which scale you're going to play, and on this one we have basically the 7 modes of the major scale. So it's
like Ionian, Dorian, Phrygian.
Exactly. All that. All that stuff. And then we have a regular mix knob where you can basically mix between the dry signal and the wet signals. And the last one is which harmonies you want, so you can choose between different ones. Okay. And on top of that, because that's one of the things I always found with harmonizers, especially ones that are simple that I like, because, well, they're simple, is the fact that at the same time, what you get in terms of the simplicity, the problem is that sometimes they don't have exactly the harmony that I want. Yeah. Or maybe they don't have the scale that I want.
Yeah, I ran into that problem, just a few months ago.
Okay,
I know what you mean.
So that's where tone print comes to the rescue. Yeah. So this pedal has 3 tone print slots over here, and that's on the harmony settings. Yeah. So on top of like the regular ones that we pick, like thirds and fifths and sixths and stuff like that, you can pretty much choose any, within an octave above and below, you can choose any harmony you can think of. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, that's what's needed.
Yeah. And you can have 2 at the same time, so you can have 1 above or 1 below, depending on what you like. And those are tone printable, so you can have 3 different ones that are not like the common ones. Yeah. And this goes together with the custom that goes up here. So tone print and custom go together. It's a little I don't want to bore you too much in detail
No.
with how much time I spent kind of figuring out how the UI was supposed to be for this one, but it was kind of tricky. But when you choose one of the tone prints, the last one that says custom up here becomes a custom scale as well. So you have choices of scales that are not immediately available on the pedal.
Yeah, okay.
So let's say in tone print 1 you want to harmonize in fourths, which is not available on the pedal itself, but it's available in the editor. You also have the choice, when you do that, you can also choose any of the regular scales you have, but the custom one becomes a custom scale of your own choice.
Yeah,
so that could be, pentatonic minor, pentatonic major, blues scale, dominant whole tone.
Yeah.
Dominant,
So you're saying like if I created a tone print in D, set to a fourth up, something like that. I create that. That's my tone print 1.
Yeah.
And that's a fourth.
Yeah.
But if I could put it to custom, I could use any of the other keys and it'll follow the same.
No, it doesn't work exactly like that. So it's another scale. So the keys are still the ones that you choose over here. But let's say that you want to play, you find yourself in a jazz situation and you need to play in Lydian
then I'll run away.
Scale.
I'll run out really fast.
That's one way of dealing with it.
Or you have the
or you have that. So if you need to play in a scale that's not available on the pedal, you can choose it in the editor. So you can go, okay, so I want to play in fourths. And I want to play fourth in, I want to get my Melodic on, so I want to play in harmonic minor scale.
Yeah.
So you can't choose that on the pedal itself,
at
but
a jazz show.
Exactly. So you choose that on the custom. So you'd set it to tone print 1 and custom, and that would give you fourths.
Yep.
With in the harmonic minor scale.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's how it works. So you have 3 different custom harmonies and 3 different custom scales.
Yeah.
On top of the regular ones.
Yeah.
So that's how it works.
Okay.
And that this might get too long-winded and boring, but the reason why we did it that way as well is that basically the way the pedal works is that when you harmonize, you're basically counting. When you say thirds, you're counting scale steps. So in the key of if you say thirds, what you really do is you go, in the key of C major, you go 1, 2, 3, and that will harmonize in thirds.
But following the sequence.
Exactly.
The formula.
And that works really nice if you say, let's say you play in sixths, so you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you get, those nice country style sounds.
Yeah.
That sound great. The problem is, if we were to put, for example, a pentatonic scale on the pedal, that screws everything over because there's only 5 notes in that scale.
Yeah.
Or if we were to put like a diminished scale, which has 8 notes, we would be kind of screwed as well. So that's why we have only scales with 7 notes readily available. And then when you go to the tone print setting, you can have scales that have another amount of notes than 7.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, and trust me, that was like I spent a lot of time kind of working that out. But that's how it is.
Awesome. And this one is has the mesh.
Yes. So let's try that out. So I'm gonna set it to. We're gonna stay in the key of C.
Okay.
And we're gonna stay in the major scale.
Okay.
And now I've added a second harmony. So now you're playing thirds and fifths, which is like a classic thing to do.
Yeah, like a chord. Yeah.
Yeah. So the mesh switch can be assigned to anything, but what we are assigning it to for all the default sounds is that it's pitch bending the harmonized notes, in this case, up 1 scale step.
Okay.
The root note, the dry note you're playing stays the same, but the other ones are bent up. So it sounds like this.
Yeah.
So if you play just like 1 note and let it hang.
Nice. Yeah, so you can get those pedal steel.
It's totally pedal steel type licks, and we're working on some tone prints. I actually had because I didn't know anything about pedal steel guy, so I had like a really good pedal steel guy come out to TC and it's kind of showing me. So these are the inversions we typically do, and then we bend that. So now I'm in the process of building all these tone prints that you can download, where it goes like so if you play this type of thing, you'll be able to get those pedal steel sounds.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So that's one way of using it for more of those classic. If we had like a drive pedal here, it's great for those Iron Maiden things.
Yeah.
And then the last thing you can do is you can also just use it for pure weirdness, which we can try now.
We like here. So you can arpeggiate them.
Yeah. And you don't have to follow, it doesn't have to be just one scale step. So this one goes.
Yeah. It's kind of like the Ballerina Effect.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that kind of thing. Yeah, and that's
That's awesome. That's great.
So there's a lot of different things you can do with this. And again, whether you're into like more, I'm gonna play in my Thin Lizzy cover band.
Yeah.
It'll work for that.
It'll work.
I'm gonna play my country stuff. It'll work for that. Or if you want to do like, I just like weird sounds. It'll definitely do that as well. So.
Awesome. Yeah, those are great.
Yeah.
The mesh is awesome. Really like it. Love the shimmer. That is something
cool.
I always love shimmer. And yeah, man, that's awesome. Thanks so much for showing me these.
Hey, thanks for allowing me to show them, and I'm looking forward to a couple of days from now. I will do some tone.
Yes, me too.
Yeah.
I'll see the behind the scenes. I've watched so many of those.
Oh, cool.
Artist tone print videos. I'm like, I want to be there.
And you'll find out that it's such a mundane thing to
do.
It's like, what is that? It?
No, it's gonna be great.
We make it seem sexy on video.
Yeah. All right. Cool. So this one, I think this will be available. Well, it'll be official when I launch the video.
It'll be official when you launch the video, and I know the dates when it'll be available around the world as well. So we
have to wait for Thursday for that. Well, they'll see
it's okay. Anyways. Yeah, but I mean, I think in Europe it arrived today in our warehouse, so we're shipping them out. So they'll probably be available like Friday this week or early next week. And in the States, apologize for that, but it's going to be a little later. I think they'll arrive in our warehouse on the 9th of October, which means that any given time it'll take for it to start shipping out to dealers. It'll be like a week from there or something like that.
Okay, yeah.
So
awesome.
Not too far away. We're trying to be better at actually announcing stuff and then having people actually buy it without waiting for like 6 months or something.
Yeah, that's smart. Thanks so much.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, same here. Thanks for watching this, guys. And check out these pedals. They're great. I'll leave all the links below. And Tore, thank you.
Thank you.
It was awesome.
That was fun.
See you later.